Hey, James Mulvaney here, back with another comparison, and today we're looking at two different broadcast or podcast mixing consoles, the Rodecaster Pro, which we've done many videos on before, and I'm going to be comparing it to the TC Helicon GoXLR. So let's dive in. So over the past few months, we've been looking at various different broadcast consoles or mixing desks which are designed for recording podcasts and live streaming, and also for your radio shows too. We've looked at the Rodecaster a few times and we've compared it to other things like the Tascam Mixcast 4 and the PodTrack P8. Now today we've got another device, and I'll see how these two compare. And this thing is really interesting. It's quite different to a lot of these other podcast style mixing desks that we've reviewed. It's called the TC Helicon GoXLR, and got some really cool features, but also there's some limitations here. And I don't know if it's really designed to be a direct competitor or comparison to the Rodecaster, but also I can see how some of the features and functionality on this would appeal to people, especially if you're a solo broadcaster or if you're a live streamer. So before we get started, if you're new to this channel, my name's James Mulvaney. I'm founder of radio.co, podcast.co, matchmaker.fm and Q Podcasts. If you like content like this, talking about gear, podcasting, radio and growing your audience, that's what I constantly do on this channel. So remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications if you want to be notified when I push out new content. I release a new video every single Friday. Okay, so let's first of all look at the main differences between this. Really, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is the number of microphone inputs. The GoXLR only has one single microphone input. So bear in mind, if you're going to be recording a podcast with more than one person, or you want to have a studio with multiple microphones, immediately this kind of eliminates the GoXLR from your choice. Whereas Rodecaster Pro and a lot of the other units that I've mentioned have got 4 or sometimes even more microphone inputs, XLR inputs. So that is thing number one. The second thing is to talk about how these devices work and record. To use the GoXLR, you might notice I've got this fascinating computer sat behind me, and most of the time I use Mac. I've got MacBooks, I use iMac at home. We have lots of Macs here in the office. We kind of work on Mac. We're a creative people, we love Mac, right? The GoXLR is limited to Windows, and to use the device you need to run the GoXLR software, which, as I say, will only work on Windows. So we've had to kind of put together a Windows computer just for this demo, which in this office is quite an ask, because as I say, everyone's used Macs. Whereas the Rodecaster Pro, you can use it in a variety of ways. You can connect it up. It works with both Windows and Mac. And you can connect it up so it links in with your DAW, such as Adobe Audition, which is, I believe, what we're running behind me to record this. You could use it to control the different levels. It kind of has MIDI control and that sort of stuff. Whereas the GoXLR will only record one channel, okay? The other thing to note as well is the Rodecaster has got a built-in SD card, which means that you can kind of take it away with you. You don't even need a computer to actually use it, and it will record straight to the SD card. And actually, that's what we're doing right now. We haven't got this connected to any kind of device or computer at all. So I think that's the first thing to sort of illustrate. If you're kind of weighing up which device to get, there's a fair few caveats there which might limit or sway your persuasion either way. If you're broadcasting just on your own and you're doing a live stream, the GoXLR might have some things that are favorable over the Rodecaster Pro, and I wanted to talk about them now. So the first thing to note is that there is quite a big size difference between these two devices. If you're looking at something that's going to sit neatly on your desk, perhaps just beside your keyboard, and as I say, if you're a solo broadcaster or a solo podcaster or a live streamer, then the GoXLR kind of will do that and allow you to sort of minimize your desk usage. So both of these devices have got hotkeys, and they're again configurable by this desktop software, whether you're working on Windows or Mac on the Rodes or via Windows on the GoXLR. These are always really useful if you want to fire off perhaps jingles for your radio show or special sound effects, or even if you want to have perhaps like backing music or beds. You can program these however you like. Another neat feature of the GoXLR is you can actually program presets, which you can't do on the Rodecaster. So if you want to perhaps change your voice so it sounds really weird, you hit a button and you can make yourself sound completely different, and then you can just revert back to normal, which is quite fun if you're perhaps doing a live stream or you're pranking someone on a phone. The other thing to note with the GoXLR is you can route in a phone, just like the Rodecaster. If you've got a little adapter like this, tip ring sleeve cable and a lightning adapter, it will allow you to actually route your phone signal through the desk, which is really, really great if you want to take callers. And like the Rodecaster Pro, you can also set it up so one of the other channels perhaps is connected to some recording software or some interview software. So whether you're using something like Riverside.fm or Zencaster or Squadcast, you could use it to record podcasts when you've got another guest who is down the wire as opposed to actually being sat in front of you. But for me, if you're recording podcasts, I'd still lean towards the Rodecaster because I think this is designed for podcasting. I think the GoXLR is really aimed more towards live streamers, perhaps broadcasters, and also people who are just generally want to have a little bit more fun. I think some of the effects on here are really, really quirky. We'll demo some of them now. So as you can hear, this is my voice just recorded via the GoXLR without any processing or effects. But if I hit this button here,
you'll see my voice changes really significantly, and suddenly I sound like Darth Vader or something weird, some kind of creepy monster, which is quite weird when you're listening to it down your headphones.
And I'm not sure I kind of like it either. Again, it's kind of very, very weird use cases. I can't think of a logical time, either as a presenter or as a podcast host, when I would really want to use that effect. But maybe if you're like doing weird streaming on YouTube and like having a lot of fun, might be kind of cool. So for gamers and that kind of stuff. Or maybe you just want to inject a bit of personality into your radio show, then
go for it and sound like a total weirdo.
But for me, it's not kind of quite my style. But there we go. That's an example of how it can alter your voice. And there's all sorts of effects. You can dial up the reverb and echo and make yourself sound completely strange. Another thing I really like about this device is how playful it is in terms of the colors. So there's all these LEDs, which I think are absolutely great, which will show, indicate the levels of your faders. But also the cool thing is you can actually change these using the software to be different colors, which I think is great. Again, kind of injects a bit of personality into the product. And I think because we've seen quite a few mixing desks which are basically, let's say Rodecaster was the first to market, they're very, very similar products to the Rodecaster. This is something completely different. They've obviously thought these sort of features through, and they've obviously bought some things to the GoXLR which other manufacturers haven't really got, such as all the LED lights and the color changing and stuff like that. And so finally, just to wrap up, one of the more sensible effects that both of these things offer is compression, which is basically a load of filters that you could apply to your microphones to make your voice sound a little bit brighter, bigger and better. They've both got their own versions of these, and we're going to switch them on now so you can compare the two. So now I've engaged the compression. I wanted to give you a comparison of the two different devices so you can hear how my voice sounds with these effects applied. And I think this is one of the reasons these devices are so popular, because audio processing could really give you that extra sort of like boost and that punch that you want, which could help you cut through the rest of the noise. So if your podcast or your radio show sounds louder and brighter than everybody else's, it's kind of a good thing, right? And radio stations have used this trick for like the last 30 years. Goes back to the days where you'd be dialing through on the airwaves at the station that had the most punch you'd stop on. That's why this exists. And of course, same with music, like the music industry loves making their music sound really like loud and bright and in your face. So what do you think of the compression when we're comparing the same microphone, the Shure SM7B, through the GoXLR and through the Rodecaster Pro? Let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you think about going out and buying one of these devices, let me know in the comments which one you're going to go out and buy or which one you prefer. And if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. What makes the difference between a successful radio station and a failed project? Well, after working with tens of thousands of broadcasters over the past 15 years and helping lots of people start their own radio stations, I see the same mistakes being made time and time again. So what I've done is I've put together a guide called the 5-Step Radio Startup Checklist, which really covers everything from concepting your radio station to marketing it. And this guide, I believe, will make the difference between you having a successful venture with longevity and creating something that doesn't quite hit the mark. Go and grab your copy now for free at jamesm.com/radio. Just enter your name and your email address and I'll send it over to you straight away. You're going to find it really useful. There's tons of information there which will help you with concepting and launching your brand and bringing it to market.